I
Hustle
made
it.
2K in the first month just as a cold caller, which, not many people do. And with the appointment setter role, with the initial offer that I landed, 10K in the first month,
Allah barik.
10K in the second month,
Allah
and I
barik.
just kept on scaling from there. To be completely honest with you, I came across it as a prize video of you guys going to
Allah.
Morocco, and something clicked, and it was like, making halal money online. And it's not just making income, it's halal income, right? Let's get that straight.
100%.
SubhanAllah, I committed, I locked in. And these are simply the three things that you guys look for: coachability, consistency, and commitment. I had those three. I just needed a bit of a push. And I decided to take that on board. SubhanAllah, 2.5 weeks in, I thought, massive improvements. I landed my first role. And that role in particular had extremely big earning potentials. One thing that I got from Brothers Rise wasn't just an increase in income, which is something that we're all looking to achieve. It's also getting within a community of Muslims. In terms of mindset, not only did it give me the ability to become a better decision maker in the future, but
Mm.
also brought me and aligned me back towards my deen as well and what's my purpose in life.
Allah barik. Subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, guys, we're joined with another success story, another student, and inshallah, today, Yousuf is going to share some light on his story and his success in remote high-ticket sales. Yousuf, you want to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Yes, it's a pleasure being here, by the way, Ayub. So by the way, just to quickly introduce myself to you guys, my name's Yousuf. I'm from the UK. I have a background in mechanical engineering. And subhanAllah, just to take you guys from the very start, I started, of course, my journey in high ticket sales approximately 12 months ago. A nerve-wracking decision to make, to be completely honest with you guys. But one that I look back and think, there's no regrets. I'm actually quite happy that I took on that decision.
Alhamdulillah. Take them a little bit back, Yusuf, because you had a background in engineering. Where were you at before you came across Holistic Rise? Like, what was your story as Yusuf initially? Like, what's the things that you have tried before in terms of possibly trying to make money? Your studies. Just give them a little bit insight of who you are and who you were initially.
Yeah, so of course, typically you go down the standard college, university, get a degree, and that's the pretty much only way to become a success and make money at the end of it.
Yeah.
So what I've found out after 7 years of being in the corporate space, living paycheck to paycheck, was that there's no scalability. Which
Mm.
means that actually the transaction involved is you give your time, and in return you get given a paycheck at the end of the month,
Yeah.
and it just didn't sit well. And it took me 7 years to pretty much realize that you can't base a family or a foundation, of course, as long as you have goals in place. You can't just base that on working a 9 to 5 and just living paycheck to paycheck,
100%.
because you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. So I was very early, trying to find ways in which I can increase my income, level up financially. I joined a couple of platforms which didn't work out for me. Got scammed a few times, and
SubhanAllah.
it's surprising things like that do happen, and that kind of added to the skepticism of joining in the first place. Yeah, so
SubhanAllah. Can you share some light, like what's the lessons that you've gotten from joining these platforms and getting scammed? Because probably a lot of people have. I personally got scammed before, okay, and a lot of people are scared to take that step into a new program or start a new journey because they got scammed before. So, what was your lessons behind it?
Yeah, so the biggest lesson that I learned was, whenever you go into something, make sure you understand everything that you're getting into. And if all of your answers are, if all of your questions are answered and everything makes sense, then the stars are aligned and go ahead with it. It's a bit like going to a restaurant and having a bad steak. We've all been there. We've all had a bad burger or a bad steak.
Exactly.
But we don't decide to never have steaks again, do we?
True.
We,
True.
we go somewhere else and have a better steak.
Exactly.
It's simply that. If you have a goal in mind, even if you've been scammed multiple times, if you have that one last chance at life to make your goal at least achievable and livable, then go for it.
100%. So when you came across this rise, actually, how did you come across this rise, and what was your main hesitation in terms of pulling the trigger? And if you want to share some light in terms of that, I think a lot of people might relate on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was, as everyone normally does, scrolling through social media, Facebook at the time, wasting time, in fact,
Wow.
just going through the news feed. And, everybody does it. And I was in that mind frame at the time.
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, I just quit my subscription with one of the platforms that I went on. And I guess it's Qadr Allah, to be completely honest with you. I came across it as a prize video of you guys going to Morocco, someone getting pushed in the water. I saw the footage out of that, and something clicked. And it was like, making halal money online. And it's not just making income, it's halal income, right? Let's get that straight.
100%.
So I just registered my interest, and at that moment, I had no intentions to join. It was literally just to see what you guys
You're
do.
just exploring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just curious, and just
Yeah.
out of curiosity, I hopped on a call with yourself and Marwan. Quite insightful, to be honest with you, because you guys were asking me questions that I never asked myself. What are your goals? Such a simple question of what are your goals? People have goals, but you don't ask yourself regularly enough.
Like, what
You
is your
can't.
why? I mean, like there's also a question that many people don't ask themselves. Okay, well, what's your goal? Yeah, okay, I want to retire my parents. I want to make 10K a month, whatever it is. But what's your why? What's that burning desire that keeps you awake at night? What, gets you going? Because motivation, comes and goes. But your why
Absolutely.
is what stays for a long term.
Yeah, and obviously we had that call, and I was still skeptical because of my previous encounters with other programs,
Naturally, yeah.
and I didn't move forward on the first call. However, even though we ended that call and that meeting, something just didn't sit right with me in the sense of what are you doing? You can see that everything makes sense. They've answered all of your questions. And it's not like the other programs that you've been on where they were
Yeah.
kind of holding back on some of their answers, not giving you everything, and not giving you that trust, to be
Yeah.
completely honest with you.
And I feel like as well is a little bit more of a mindset shift as well, because when you do have these experiences before, like you're very scared and have that like resistance and that pushback initially, like, oh, if I do this, this might happen. I think
Absolutely.
I remember that day exactly. So I remember like us having a conversation on a WhatsApp call, and we were going through everything, and I was like, what's the worst thing can happen?
Absolutely.
What's the
Absolutely.
worst thing that can happen? I mean, the worst thing is that, okay, you lose your money, okay, but you learn a lesson again, okay, and money comes and goes. Or the other side is that you take action, it actually works out, and now you're making 10 to 20 grand a month, traveling the world, taking care of your family, and life is completely different, okay? So what's more worse? Is it losing, a couple of $1,000 and it might come back to you, all right? Or the upside, which is 100, 200 grand a year, okay?
Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
With that said, what happened after, Akhi? What happened after you pulled the trigger and you said Bismillah? Because I remember 2 weeks in, something happened amazing. If you want to share that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's subhanallah to reflect on and look back. So yeah, I pulled the trigger. I actually got back in touch with you guys, and as I look, let's just do it. I'm just curious enough to see where this can take me.
Amazing.
And I put all my eggs in one basket, and simply because I was prepared to take one last shot. And why was I prepared to do that? Because my goals were worth achieving and worth living. So I said, okay, let's go ahead with it. SubhanAllah, I committed, I locked in. And these are simply the three things that you guys look for: coachability, consistency, and commitment. I had those three. I just needed a bit of a push, and I decided to take that on board. SubhanAllah, 2.5 weeks in, I thought, massive improvements. I landed my first role.
Alhamdulillah.
And that role in particular had extremely big earning potentials.
Allahu Barik. I think I remember it was like, what was it 200 to 300K a year in earning
Yes,
potential?
earning potentials, yes.
Allahu Barik. SubhanAllah. And from there, 3 months in, 4 months in, what's the results, Akhi? I mean, everybody wants to hear, like, okay, you've landed a role in 2 weeks. How much money did you make, Akhi?
Yeah,
What was the highest month that you ever had?
my highest month was right when I got my first role. They took about 2 to 3 weeks to get me onboarded. So what did I do? Because I've now invested in myself and I've learned a skill set in high ticket sales, I went and landed another role as a cold caller in the
Allahu
US.
Barik.
I
Hustling.
made 2K in the first month just as a cold caller,
Wow.
which not many people do. And with the appointment setter role, with the initial offer that I landed, 10K in the first month,
Allahu Barik.
10K in the second month, and I just kept on scaling from there.
SubhanAllah. What was the mindset shift when that type of money was actually coming in, going from like a normal job paying you £2,400 or £3,000 to making a shift and seeing this type of money completely remote? You could have been anywhere in the world typically, right? You could have been
Absolutely.
in Bali or you could be in America, chilling in Spain. What was the mindset shift when you start seeing that happen?
Yeah, good question. So in terms of mindset, it's when you see an opportunity, and you can see that this is actually going to help you achieve what you're actually trying to achieve in terms of your goals,
Yeah.
and not just your goals, but your purpose in life.
No.
Because one thing that I got from Brother Rise wasn't just an increase in income, which is something that we're all looking to achieve. It's also getting within a community of Muslims and
Yeah.
becoming a better Muslim, because we have the dunya, of course, we're alive right now, but one reality is the akhirah as well.
Yeah.
And we don't shy away from, giving value in terms of Islamic value.
Family
So
values, our lessons and stuff like that. Yeah.
absolutely, yes. So in terms of mindset, not only did it give me the ability to think, to become a better decision maker in the future, but
Mm.
also brought me and aligned me back towards my deen as well, and what's my purpose in life.
Allahu Barik, subhanAllah. I think that's very, very powerful, bro, because as sometimes as Muslims, we get stuck in the rat race of like chasing money, and we forget the akhirah a lot. And once we align both deen and our dunya, it allows us to have that balance as well. And as they say, whoever runs after the dunya, like the dunya is gonna keep running away from him, and whoever chases after the akhirah, the dunya is gonna come back and run after him, subhanAllah. So it's about having your priorities right and having your intentions. So if you're looking to become flexible, become remote, make halal income for the sake of Allah, for the sake of like wanting to pray on time in the masjid, to spend time with your family, giving them their haqq, and doing all these different things that you wanted to do that you can't do right now because you're limited to time, resources, and finances, subhanAllah, your life becomes so much smoother. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open up doors that you never even imagined. Now, with that said, now that alhamdulillah you have had success in remote high ticket sales, where do you see yourself a year, 2 years, 3 years from now? What's the goal?
SubhanAllah. It's a good question, and I can see myself going into so many different avenues simply because of one skill. It's opened so many different opportunities that I can go into in terms of going remotely into high ticket sales full time, earning some form of passive income and utilizing the capital that I've earned and getting passive income by investing. And there's no risk involved in that neither, because even if something doesn't work out there, I still have the skill set to make that money back, right?
You said it, which is amazing. And I think that's a very important concept because what happens is in modern day society is that people just have normal jobs that pay them whatever, 40, 50 grand a year. And they use that job to pay for a house or mortgage or whatever it is. And they're stuck in that cycle of paying bills and their income doesn't increase because they're always capped. But because you have a skill set, even though if you lose it or whatever it is, no problem. You can make that money back in 2 months, 3 months time. And then you're starting all over again because you have the skill set to be able to open up another business. You have the skill set to be able to get cash flow in to buy a house, 1 year, the next year open up a business, and then it's just literally a domino effect.
Absolutely. And just to come back on the mindset thing as well. One thing that I learned from you guys was, there's guys out there just chasing money, but there's no purpose for that. Now, if you were to flip your mindset and become a better version of yourself and become a better person in the sense of you learn a skill set,
Yeah.
and you start performing better and you become a better person, then increasing your wealth and attracting wealth just becomes a
Yeah.
result of who you
Yeah,
become.
yeah, subhanallah. So for those that are watching right now, Yusuf, that are probably on their like on the line, maybe were scammed before or they're just on the fence, what would you say to that person that's on the line that maybe wants to join us like Rise, wants to get into remote sales or even start like a business, just generally wants to take a leap of faith into that next step into their life? What would you say to that person that's viewing this right now?
What I would say to that person is, first of all, before you go into anything, why do you want to do it?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's knuckle down the foundation first. Why do you want to do it? Once you've understood that, what do you need to do in order to achieve that? Okay. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to go into things based on fear. And fear is something that, if you are channel it the wrong way and you stop yourself from doing what you need to be doing, then it's you don't become the person you need to become. And the biggest fight you'll ever have is between the person that you are today and the one that you need to become to achieve the goals that you have. And this kind of fight isn't, it's not won or lost in the typical fashion of fighting or screaming or even crying. Some men cry as well.
exactly, exactly.
But this kind of fight, so to speak, is won or lost based on one thing, and that's decisions.
100%. This is how you make decision today is affects how your future looks 100%. Who you decide to marry today, who like what opportunities you decide to step in, all affects your future and how your life shapes, so to speak. So make the right decision today so you can have a brighter future, inshallah.
Absolutely. And also, you obviously have the custom price as well. So, how much does it cost you to get into that and
100%.
achieve your goals? And what's the price you pay if you don't actually do it?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I mean, you're gonna pay the price regardless. So you gotta pay the price up front. All right, it's either you're gonna pay the price in money right now, or you're gonna pay the price later on based on regret on
Absolutely.
like not taking action. So yeah, barakallahu feek, Yusuf. I feel like we've covered quite a bit of ground here. You've shared your story, which is amazing. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing a lot of nuggets along with Barak. And I'm really excited to see how you are in the next 2 to 3 years or 4 years. We might even have a part 2 or 3 to see how you are, inshallah. But with that being said, I think we should conclude this interview, inshallah. And if you're somebody right now that's watching, that's looking to get into remote high ticket sales and looking to get mentored by us, inshallah, then just simply find the link in the description. You can try book a call with us, and inshallah, we'll see if you're a great fit to become a Rise member and access our coaching. So, with that being said, barakallahu fikum guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.